So, should be some fun today.
I agree. I'm looking forward to it. It's,
Yeah.
once we get this thing in the 3-2-1 zone, I'm ready.
Yeah, Lanxian, not someone I'm,
Looks like we're going.
Yeah, we are
Get this
started.
timer going.
Lanxian, I don't think we've seen dual race before, so that's always nice to see someone new going on. We got a Locke, Go-Go, and Realm start. Locke has tools there. Did not see what Realm has. Locke also has natural magic. I saw a Cure 2 in there.
Yeah. I also noticed the timer hasn't started.
Oh yeah, that's because I'm amazing. And I don't have like 15 windows open. That's fine.
It's all good. So we have a couple people doing the standard route, going into Narsh and having a look around to see what they have. We have a couple that have gone to Narsh World of Ruin first. And then we have Lanxian, who's gone down to Returners to start out. Getting to see a lot of alternative looting paths these days is really interesting, and seeing how people like to attack this.
Yeah, and there was an actual choice to be made in the old man's house for once between the Esper Alexander and the Magus Rod, one of the best defensive endgame weapons.
Yes. And that +7 magic goes a long way, regardless of where you put it. If you have anyone who's going to be using magic for you, getting enhancers, Magus Rods, Illuminas, Ragnaroks, wonderful things to really help buff you up and help you do a lot of damage, especially early on.
Yeah, so if we find Terra, if people even remember this is a thing, we may see people actually getting that second treasure. I do know a lot of people tend to forget that you can get that, or they just never knew.
And for those of you wondering what we're talking about, after you defeat Welk in Terra's Check, you can walk beyond where Welk is and go up to where Tritok is in the vanilla game, and there will be an NPC standing there with the other item that was the option in the old man's house.
Similarly, with the Mog check in the World of Bounds, you are offered a choice, and you have to be really confident about what that is if you're going to go get it in the World of Ruin, because it requires you to go into the Narsh mines that you have no other reason to go to.
On a plus note, there's at least 3 chests along the way.
Yeah, I mean, it is a choice you can make, and there are arguments to be made for doing it sometimes. Did you see what the number was on the Cursed Shield? Because I did just notice someone putting it on.
28.
That's very high.
That's very high. It's beyond the realm of anything I would be bothering to work with.
Yeah, I've said this multiple times on streams, but I think the maximum number I would ever go for is about 18.
Yeah, 18 to 20, depending on the checks I had to do. If I have Elite River Burning House and a Serpent Trench start, I might go a little bit over 20. But I would have to be forced down those avenues pretty hard to consider it.
Exactly. There are reasons to keep it when it's a high number, but usually not that concerned about it.
No.
And 18 is still pretty high.
It looks like we got Vamp going right into the Phoenix Cave.
Interesting choice. It is a free check, assuming you don't want to fight the dragon. And there are a lot of chests in there.
Looks like we got Classy doing a bit of a grind, or Forgotten the Moogle Charm.
Both
Either
possibilities.
Both possibilities. We've got Fraggle doing his South Figaro loot. I've noticed it doesn't look like anyone's gone into the basement yet in South Figaro. This is interesting to me.
Yeah, I personally pretty much always do. We might see Lanxian going in there, or they might just be getting the that barrel, because we do have the 2 World of Ruins now that you can go to and loot. It'll be interesting.
It's true, and it's yeah. It looks like he's. Oh, he is going to the basement. Awesome.
Fraggle.
I like the basement.
Possibly following him there, finding some fixed dice in that barrel.
Fixed dice. Ooh, all right. Suddenly, some early offense has been. Go ahead.
Just a lot of runners love those, and like you were about to say, that is some good early offense if you've got nothing else to go with.
Providing someone can wear it, and hopefully one of our characters is able to equip that item early on here.
Yes, we do still have the standard original equipment plus random. It does usually work out that 1 or 2 people can wear it.
That's a nice cat hood find by Vampstar there in the Phoenix Cave. That item's wonderful. It increases magic along with a lot of defense. It's a great hat for any magic user. It also increases the currency that you get at the end of every fight.
Yeah, it
which
doubles
in a run
all
like this,
gold pickups.
Yeah, you're gonna need some gold. So being able to have more access to more gold early on is gonna go a long way for helping our runners purchasing any items they need. You know, your sleeping bag collection that we all like to have.
Yeah, although I will say with random chests, there's gonna be probably a lot of stuff they can sell anyway. Random chests is not the standard flag. That's usually just shuffled chests with 20% random in. This week we went full random, which means we might see like 6 Illuminas or 0 Illuminas.
We might also find 6 fixed dice or just 1. You know, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I am seeing that they've found a sniper and a red jacket and a red cap. Certainly very nice items all around there for
a nice ice rod. That'll get you past an early boss.
Yeah. There are no rods purchasable in this setup, so that should offset slightly the benefit of random chests. Which isn't always a benefit, but usually is. Seeing Fraggle going to Albrook. First person to go there. And Vamp just thinking about going to get that chest and then going, yeah, you know what? Nah. Maybe nah.
It looked like he was almost trying to set up to actually push and try to fight the dragon at level 3. And I was like, all right. I'm down with this. Let's see where this goes.
Would have worked out super well for him. We do have unscaled dragons this week. And Fraggle showing off how much money you can get just by selling the junk you find in random chests. Presumably, he's trying to buy something. Maybe not. I do see he has rename cards.
He got a rename card.
He's
here we go.
a big fan of those meme names. I see a Boo Jack coming up.
I see a Boo Jack coming. Oh, man.
There it is. That standard... and Locke can, in fact, equip the cursed dice. Cursed dice. That sounds like a much worse weapon.
Yeah, a fixed dice Locke early is going to be great. He's got pretty good base speed, so you'll get a lot of tosses in.
Well, there's an economizer in a jar for Fraggle.
That's...
And he has found sleeping bags. One item that people are generally... Ooh, an Inferno for Lanxian. Not something you want to see right at the start of the game. And it would appear he does not have the benefit of those fixed dice to help him out. That's probably going to be a white. And it's just a reset.
That's a real short check there. Yep. We got Vampstar going to another free check on his way to Gogo's cave.
Unfortunately, forgetting to reduce his party to 1. This might take a little bit to get all eaten up by that, eggplant with a mouth.
It's a matter of preference. Typically, if I go in with the full party, I will just increase my battle speed.
That is something I have never thought of doing.
Because alternatively, if I have the option of changing my party members before heading there, then I'll do it. If I don't want to go all the way deep into the ship and then do the change and then come down and drop, I'll just increase the battle speed and then change it once I get inside.
That is a valid point. I see a drill for sale there in Lanxian's screen, wherever they are. I believe it was Zen. It is indeed. And Vampstar finally gets all sucked up by that eggplant.
Not too bad, only a little over a minute for him. Probably didn't increase his battle speed either, but it's a thought that can sometimes save you the same amount of time that it would take to go up to the ship and back down. So
that is something I will be bearing in mind for the future. Because usually, standard practice is set battle speed to the slowest possible so that enemies get turns as slowly as possible, and then you just forget about it. But there are valid reasons to change it. Ooh, seeing Lanxian going into Tamasa.
I think they decided after that first fight that, you know what? I'm going to go and find some more loot before we try anything else here.
I did see warp stones for sale there. Those are always nice to have.
Yeah, I always like to get a handful of those as soon as I see them.
Yeah. Oh, empty barrel. No, nice in the random chests.
Dragoon boots, white dress in the returner side, along with an Imperial, looking pretty good there for Fraggle.
Yeah, Vamp.
White dress is decent armor. There's the ice rod that we saw in someone else's inventory earlier.
Yeah, Vamp got knocked down by one of those Zone Eater Chancellors. Made what I generally consider a mistake in going for that extra chest.
It's very rare. I've probably grabbed that chest all of 3 times, and I usually grab it on the way out if I don't have warp stones.
That is what I would do as well.
But
with random chests, they're very tempting.
They are. That's usually the only times I've given it a go.
Yeah, Langshan, I believe, found a character going into Esper Mountain here. I did not get a chance to see them very well. But it's a Cyan.
That's a real good character.
Although it is questionable how good characters are these days when they all have random abilities, usually.
But if you find a sword tech user at all now...
Oh, yes, then
you've opened it up, and having that available is always great.
Yep, and a tentacle monster in the rocks is what we've got for Langshan.
That's not a vanilla one, is it? No, it's not. Okay, it died way too fast.
No, I don't think Ultros usually swims in rocks in this game.
No.
And we'll get our first look at Cyan here. Well, his equipment anyway. And while I was looking at Cyan's delicious equipment, it seems as though I missed what Vamp got out of that go-go check.
As did I. I was very curious to see what skills Cyan had, but I didn't end up seeing it.
As has been said many times, it's kind of hard to watch 4 screens at once.
It looks like he got another character. In the quick opening of his menu, I saw 4.
And Franklin has just updated that to 4, so yes, it would be Edgar. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
And Cyan appears to have throw, because that's what Go-Go has the ability to stick on there now.
Not a terrible ability.
Ooh, and a Dragon Horn. Throw is an amazing ability, if you can find stuff to use with it. Or if you get to the end of the game and you just go, here's everything in my inventory.
I tend to favor anything that does multiple hits over single, but if all you have is single hit abilities, then running those they're definitely going to be useful. Throw comes along.
One notable thing about Throw, it is the only ability that gives you the ability to hit every single weakness in the game.
Fraggle, unfortunately, with a wipe there on Ultros.
Yeah, he was not getting those rolls. Vampstar heading off to Figaro for the easy Edgar check, which I found out yesterday you can do in the World of Ruin, so you can do all 3 Edgar checks in one clump.
Oh, you just found that out yesterday. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do it all as one shot. But hey, I'm glad you're learning, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's always something new to be learned about this game.
Absolutely. Every time I think, I'm like, hey, I think I'm starting to get this, I see someone do something, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, for example, the barrel in South Figaro in the guy's basement. I didn't realize that was a lootable check until a couple of weeks ago, and then sure enough in the Kefka Grand Prix. Yeah, the Cider Man.
Yeah.
That barrel was a Paladin shield in the Grand Prix this week. So I was like, yeah, let's go.
Oh, I wish you hadn't told me that. Because I haven't done it yet. But
oh my goodness, I am so sorry.
I do check that these days, so I probably would have anyway.
Okay, well, I didn't know you hadn't run that yet. My apologies. I thought we were pretty much at the end of that after today's run.
They're not done until Sunday night.
Well, there's nothing in there. Maybe it was
okay, I'll just skip it. It'll be fine. I won't worry about it.
Goodness.
Oh, and Classy fighting that old Ultros. Fraggle is gonna have a bad time. And a reset. Air Anchor in that Narsh room.
So the main difference here is it looks like when Langshan did it, he opted to use, or they opted to use their ice rod.
Yes, they did throw out that ice rod, as well as getting some reasonable rolls with the dice. Vampstar up to 5 characters. I didn't see who they got though.
They got Umaro as their 5th.
Oh, and stuck them in the party, interestingly.
Umaro's a wonderful character.
Umaro
Very
is...
underrated.
Umaro has uses. I would say...
He has a really high damage curve for early mid-game.
Yes, at the start of the game, especially because he can ignore defense with some of his attacks. He can get you through checks. He does drop off at about the midway point, though, because he can't really do anything else. Unless you find really delicious weapons.
Yeah. A good equipable Umaro with belly bump and some other fun things that you can do with him. He goes a long way.
Yes, last week during the Kefka Grand Prix, I had him wielding an offering and 2 Valiant knives.
I heard that was the play for a lot of people.
Yeah, he one-shotted tier 3 for me and almost ruined my entire day. But another attempt at the octopus here on Fraggle's side.
Going with a different strategy this time. Using a drill over his dice, it appears.
The dice are just on go-go. And we're seeing Vamp looting the other version of Seth Figaro.
And Fraggle downs Ultros. There we go. We are past that check now. He's going to get himself Cyan with Jump and Dragoon Boots.
And we have seen 2 Dragon Horns in chests so far, so that's a nice thing to have. Assuming
Perhaps
he
it's
can
Realm with Throw. I think Realm may have Throw.
Realm
Cyan
has
Jump.
Throw, yes.
Yes.
I think.
Well, Cyan is very viable now.
Yeah, it's a good strength ability on a good strength character. Dried meat in the shop there for Vamp. You know that he picked one up.
And we've got Classy up against Rexel. Always a good time.
Realm hitting them with a paintbrush. Very useful. But yeah, Rexel can be a bit of a hassle. If you
Luckily
don't have...
with...
Ooh, 54k on that Esper into Zen World of Ruin. But if you don't have targetable damage on Rexel, you're generally going to have issues.
Absolutely. Additionally, when you don't have Zinger Rexel, you don't have as much to worry about, thankfully.
Yes, it's not as much of a problem, but it does also remove your ability to use X-Zone to one-shot the boss.
If I'm not mistaken, that almost looked like a Ragnarok that Locke was using?
It did seem to be doing MP crits. And that's one of the best items.
They're for sale in Narsh.
Oh, they're just straight up for sale. Well, I think we know where people are going to be spending a lot of their money.
Yeah, good thing we found that cat hood. And now we've got Fraggle attempting Rexel as well.
That is a Ragnarok, but he's switching it up to a different character to put an offering on. Cyan jumping with a Ragnarok is going to be some damage.
That's a lot of slap.
But he's taking it off again. Put it on Realm. 2 people fighting Rexel on the left side of the screen.
And Vampstar finally looting the basement in South Figaro.
Indeed.
Pretty tight race right now. Honestly, this could still go in just about any direction. Vamp had an early lead because he opted to do checks first, but the others are quickly catching up and Vamp backing off to go and do some looting that had already been completed by the other runners.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how that routing works out at this point. Fraggle getting through Rexel, and I imagine Lanxian will be following shortly after.
Yes.
Classy back in World of Ruin Narsh, or I guess there for the first time.
Yes, probably going to see what our Esper is.
Ooh, Bolt 3 to the face on Lanxian.
Oof.
accidentally sleeping in the bed, like I definitely don't do 1 in 5 times on Classy's screen. But, you know, sometimes Locke just needs a nap. Treasure hunting takes a lot of, you know, energy. And we're seeing tunnel armor check, I believe, from Vampstar. As Fraggle just goes and loots the other version of South Figaro. Yeah, 28 on that cursed shield. Very surprised anybody kept it.
It's a very large number for sure. Especially in a run like this. Like, I think if there were some dragons worked in as well, I might consider it. There aren't really very many checks that are going to allow you to fully unlock that unless you grind.
Yes, we don't really have any fixed encounter stuff going on with these starting characters, so not a lot of opportunity for that. Vampstar finally finding Inferno.
And Lanshin getting reflected with their Bolt 3s here, it looks like.
Okay, so Lanshin is casting Bolt 3 then. I thought it was a little odd that Rexall would have access to that.
I also found that a little odd. But I just saw the reflect pop up and then Realm went down.
Down goes Rexall either way. Vampstar, very clearly having issues up there. The only person left is Umaro, who might be able to solo it.
Yeah, Inferno's really rude at this stage.
Bolt.
Yep, okay. Good effort.
And it's a wipe for Vamp.
Inferno would be a great place to use the Ice Rod if you still have it available.
Absolutely. Classy going up into Realms Owzer's house check, skipping the first chest. Maybe doesn't know it's there.
Or feels good enough with the equipment they have.
As random chests, I'd be hard pressed to skip a chest that takes less than 5 seconds to get. You never know where all those cursed dice are gonna be. Fraggle going up to do Kefka at Nersh, it would seem. I do know he really hates that check, along with many other people.
Very interesting choice, for sure.
Well, unless I looked away and he went to the World of Ruin. Which is possible. Vamp just fighting some bears. Guess he's decided he doesn't have the levels to do things that he wants to do.
I think that's the downfall to doing early free checks.
Yes, you can... no, it is World of Ruin. Fraggle going to fight a Durgan. And it is the vanilla Durgan of that area. Vamp even having trouble with those bears. I guess those checks got a little away from him. And here comes a tunnel armor fight for Langshian.
At this stage, I think he's just hoping to get out of this fight for some XP for whoever's left.
Yeah.
Oof. Umaro taking those hits, though, like a hero.
That snow muffler right at the start's real good. Or a lance there for Classy. If Cyan can equip that, that's going to be nice.
Absolutely.
Fraggle getting rid of that Ice Durgan. And receives an Illumina. Very worth the time.
Interestingly enough, he's making Gogo a jumper as well.
That is a valid strategy. Even if you don't have a spear, it does still make you do 1.5x damage with a...
Well, he put the Aura Lance on Gogo.
Ah. Yes, I did notice that nobody checked to see if Cyan could do it. And Langshin, as everyone else has, fell to that Inferno. Fraggle finding a frozen ghost train.
And we're getting our first look at Doma Castle World of Ruin.
Indeed. Oh, Fraggle making great use of the fact that Ghost Train is not immune to instant death. You cannot kill it with Revivify anymore, but you can still kill it with any instant death spell. Or in this case, the Air Anchor. Lanxian seemingly unaware that you only have to get one child in Cyan's Dream, but I did not know that for a long time myself. So, Fraggle picking up Madeline from Valley Garmandus, and we're about to see Shadow as a reward for a fight in Owzer's Castle, which is a
how interesting that we find Realm's daddy in Realm's chick.
Well, that's where she got all her painting skills.
Yeah. Her dad taught her.
Yeah.
So Vamp still grinding? Oh, maybe we're off somewhere.
Just taking off. Meanwhile, Lanxian fighting Finbaba, and
we got Classy against Dillahan.
Going to Mount Zozo. If chests were tiered in this game, this is the place you would go immediately. Because there are a lot of them, and they're weirdly high level. Also, it's a free check. And Esper Mountain for Vamp, which I believe was a character, Cyan, and Ultros. 1. Finbaba going down there on the bottom left for Lanxian. Did not seem to put up too much of a fight.
Not at all. He threw some water items there.
Yes. Vamp walking around without the Moogle charm on.
I'm feeling like this is intended, again, because of all of the early checks that he took.
Oh, yes. This is pretty much definitely not accidental.
Was Vamp also the one who put on the Curse Shield?
Yes, that is why Locke is all screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it looks like they've opted to go for that. Oh, not an Imp Zone. Oh, it's only on one character. That's not too bad.
Yeah, Imp does have one major benefit, but I've never been able to pull it off in this randomizer. But if you can get all the Imp gear, and Dragoon Boots or a Jump Command, and preferably a Dragon Horn, you can do a lot of damage and be very well defended with a full set of Imp gear.
Yeah, I've never actually pulled that off either.
You need a lot of stuff. And we're about to see what the Ghost Train has to offer, and I would not be surprised if Fraggle fights this dragon if a PRC is going to fight the dragon. The Storm.
Looks like we're grinding for some XP on a lot of these fights here.
Yeah, 7 bottom left in Cyan's Dream for Lanxian. And this is 2 dragons in a row that have been in the vanilla locations.
Almost seems like they're not shuffled at all.
It's entirely possible I overlooked that flag. There are a lot of them these days. But Storm Dragon going down pretty easily for Fraggle.
It looks like we're going to be getting Sabin from Cyan's Dream.
Yep.
That'll definitely help open up the game a lot. Sabin and Terra have a ton of checks.
They both have 5, and a lot of Sabins are very fast.
Absolutely.
Fraggle getting an Ice Shield from that Durgan. Classy seems like he's going into the Phoenix Cave. And Vamp making some choices. Ooh, Edgar has GP Rain. That is not what you want to see.
Well, with a Cat Hood, it might not be too bad.
It's still not a fantastic... Like, it ignores defense, I'll give it that. It can be useful, but it's not great. I just saw Minerva going on Lanxian's screen. Not sure when that was picked up. Probably right now.
It can be useful in Kefka's Tower when, if they're just an extra character you've thrown in, you're not going to be using your money anymore. Go ahead and throw it at stuff to help kill it.
Yeah, and there's a Gao at the top of the mountain for Fraggle. And Ultra/Chupon fight, I believe, for Lanxian.
That is definitely what it looks like.
That will yield a Sabin and something else.
We've got Classy taking the slightly slower route through the Phoenix Cave, opting not to damage his characters.
Probably, in that case, trying to fight the dragon.
Very possible.
They are not a super high level. Or at least that party wasn't. I'm not sure why they have a party of 2. And Fraggle going for yet another dragon.
He does know we don't need any dragons, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It is simply that, if you can kill them quickly, dragons will catapult you forward. I think this is a command. Yay! Go follow our runners, people! And come join the Discord. Which is also in there somewhere. A gold Durgan in vanilla, probably the easiest one.
And absolutely join the Discord. If you guys have questions about the run, we're more than happy to help new runners find their way. This is a fantastic randomizer that's been put together by Atmatech and others. We have a very fast-growing but full of wonderful people community, and we're happy to help anyone who comes in, answer questions, get you started, teach you looting paths, all of those things. So feel free to join the Discord for sure, and ask us questions.
Yeah, there are a lot of resources in our guides repository. We have a whole channel dedicated to helping new people out. Marble shoes for Fraggle there. Vamp has found a Katana Soul in that Narsh chest.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. That's going to be a big deal if he also found the fixed dice. That'll open up a lot of doors here in the early mid-game for him.
I know there was an offering from the Doma leader check. So might see a couple offerings on hand at any given time here in the future. Fraggle finding Narapa in the sky. Not sure if that was deliberate. I don't think he has Setzer, so probably not. But not that big of a danger. I did see Vamp had the Noise Blaster too. It just didn't work out for him at the start of that Katana Soul fight, and now Locke is very dead.
Yeah. This may very well turn into a Cyan solo mission soon.
It would appear to be that way. Fraggle picking up a Magicite, as Langshan also picks up a Magicite. Phantom for Fraggle, that's a way to get past calmness. I've never had it work for me, but...
Phantom's difficult because if you get Meteo countered, you'll lose it.
Yep, and that's what happens to me every time. It has Cure 2 and Flare on it, not a terrible Esper.
Along with Vanilla Vanish. How about that? Oh, man.
Oh, Blowfish takes out Cyan, and down goes Vamp. We may see him coming back for that monster in a box later, but I'd be surprised if he tries again right away. He does have the Noise Blaster, as I said, so he can cause it to kill itself.
Yeah, poor Vamp. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he just got unlucky. And Fraggle showing off, as I mentioned earlier, you only need to get this one child to make your way through Cyan Stream.
We got Classy Badger doing the Velt Cave on his way to see who Mistdor Behemoth is.
And he finds some pugs in a box. Aside from Katana Soul, basically the only other monster in a box you want to see. Maybe Gigantos if you're looking for...
Yeah, I was going to say Gigantos is great for XP, especially like mid-late game. You get a ton for that guy, but...
Yes, but each of these pugs has, I believe, a 1 in 16 chance of dropping a Minerva, or a 1 in 8.
Actually, 1 in 8. Yeah, 1 in 8. You remember that time Fraggle got 3?
Yes. That is some luck. I mean, it's
like a 1 in 256 chance, I think.
Yeah, it's 8 times 8 times 8. I'm not good at mental math, but it's a big number.
It's a lot!
Yeah. And Vamp, is he gonna fight a dragon? No, of course he's not, because everything is killing him. Fraggle.
It might not actually be a bad play for him to try it.
Oh, no, he was just saving first. There's another offering for Classy.
Wow, those are everywhere.
We got one from a check. There's one in a chest. That is a chest a lot of people skip. A lot of people will just not get that chest. So we'll see if anyone else finds it. And we got one if you want to kill that Katana Soul. Ooh, all that way for a star pendant, Lanxian. Not gonna feel great about that. Vamp successfully dragoning. Which I'm sure he's gonna be happy about. He's been struggling for some levels for a while. Meanwhile, Classy fighting Haydn in the Senor Behemoth spot. This is another example of you probably want single target damage for this fight, unless you really want to get Grand Train, which is actually quite difficult to do now, because a lot of the time we have scaled abilities for monsters these days. Not today, though.
Yeah. Not today, so it might even be worth wiping them out so you can learn it. In the event you run into someone with lore.
Absolutely. It is.
Especially having economizers handy, as we do.
Yes. One of those was found pretty early, put to use in the casting of Bolt 3, and I don't think we've really seen many other spells come in. We have found a lot of physical options. And the fixed dice there for Classy, showing why I'm not a super big fan. It'll get rid of stuff, but it's random, and it's not reliable, and it's slow. But that flare proc will probably help out quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Vamp taking out the icy train of doom.
Fortunately, we couldn't suplex it today.
Always a disappointment.
Alright, we've got Lanshin going back to the world of balance, it appears. Oh, no. You got me, you debated. Alright, we got Fraggle dropping down in the castle. We have Lanshin going to Zozo to do Cyan's World of Ruin check.
Vamp just about to do the Umaro's Cave check, and Haydn goes down on Classy's side. We'll see what that gets us. I say us because I'm definitely involved in the race. You know, it's
just scouting it out before you try it later. You know?
It's a secret, but I'm actually Fraggle.
Boo Jack.
Well, yes, exactly. Boo Jack, indeed. So, I got distracted and looked away for like 2 seconds when I was trying to see what Haydn gave it there. Let me see.
Seem to be having a lot of item and or character checks. Lacking a lot in the Esper front.
Versus the max so far. And Vargas and the Ipoos come out.
I love that band.
Yeah, they're my favorite 1940s doo-wop group.
It looks like we got Fraggle getting through Chupon here.
And
finding Sabin.
Fighting a Durgan.
So for those of you wondering, hey, how do these fixed dice work? Why do people like them? Why is the damage so random? So fixed dice work with a formula of die 1 multiplied by die 2 multiplied by die 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by your level.
And they ignore defense. They just do a fixed bit of damage.
They just do a bunch of damage. So the higher your level, the more damage the dice will do.
Ah, there's Golem for Fraggle. That's one of the Espers you want to find.
Yes, Golem, you can just cast it at the start of Tier 3
and
on
it
Kefka.
Has Merton and Bio and Fire 2 on it. All reasonable spells. Merton strats, not super doable all the time, but when you can pull it off, one of the most effective ways to get through the game. It is a spell that damages your entire party as well as the entire enemy party. But if you can find fire or wind absorption, you're golden. Ah, I was not aware of that, Radlin. Apparently, if you get triple numbers on the dice, they are multiplied again by that number. There is another item in the game just called dice, which is not as good. I'm pretty sure it mostly works the same, except there's only 2 of them. And we're seeing a Tizen check from Fraggle. Classy trying that Inferno fight again, as Lanxian gathers him a gal.
Fraggle pulling ahead in our Esper count, though.
Oh, very much so. Everyone else is still struggling to find that third one.
The good news is a lot of us, or a lot of the runners, seem to have enough characters with enough checks available to them.
Yes, this is a
we haven't really seen
open seed.
We haven't really seen anyone fully push through the save-in checks, which I find surprising. Because, as you said earlier, with how quick they are, you'd think that you would really want to push through those.
Yeah, like this Tizen check, there's the Falls, which is really quick. Imperial Camp's generally pretty quick. We're seeing Lanxian go there now.
Ghost Train's not even that long. Like, you can just dip your toe in and see what it is, and if it's not what you want, you can back out.
That is useful. It is one of the longer checks, though, if you actually do go through with it, but you at least get to know what the reward is beforehand. Classy, first person to take out Inferno, I believe.
I believe you're correct in that.
Fraggle finding his 5th Esper Unicorn, and Classy getting Siren. Ice 3 on that Esper, as well as Cure 2. Not bad.
Lanxian fighting Ursus, and
that's going to be some money.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of money. If he can... Oh, actually, he can't escape. It's in the middle. You got it pincered.
Yep, those are enemies from Mount Zozo, which if you've only played the vanilla game, you will not know, are incredibly hard to hit with physicals. Their evasion is stupid high.
They're really silly skinned thieves, honestly. Like, it's like a thief's wearing a bear costume and you just can't take anything from them.
Oh, yeah. They probably ate that bear's heart and gained all of its power.
It's a 8-character, 11 Esper Cambo.
Vamp appearing to have some difficulty or just doesn't know if he wants to have that dragon fight. Going for it, as Fraggle attempts the Gal Velt check with that dried meat that he found in a box, I believe. Classy.
It's a great place to find your dried meat, because sometimes there are some seeds where we have random prices, and there's nothing worse than when you need a dried meat and it's 60k in a shop somewhere. I've had that a few times.
That can be an issue. Luckily, most of the time in those seeds, you can also sell your tonics for like 20k.
Exactly.
But sometimes you get that thing where you just got nothing that has any value. Vamp taking out that dragon pretty quickly. Marble Shoes is the reward for that Ghost Train. That's going to be a reset for Lanxian.
Yes,
Marble
it is.
Shoes are a pretty good relic, but probably don't want to do a long check for them.
Fraggle doing a lot of work here at 6-6 already. He's also encountered 3 dragons and taken them out to give him quite the level advantage.
Yeah, like I said earlier, if you can get those dragons killed early, they will catapult you pretty hard. We are using Progress X2 scaling, which means it's only when people find a character or an Esper that the enemy levels go up. So getting those levels before enemies have them gives you a lot of advantages. Ooh, a Moogle Charm! That's gonna help.
It's nothing better than more Moogle Charms. Hey, now if you forget one on the ship, it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah. And here comes a party fighting a man falling down a waterfall. As Fraggle finds a regular dragon. Which is an enemy I don't even remember existing.
Yeah, I don't recall where they're from in the vanilla game, honestly. The Doom Dragons, I recall, but I think
the dragon is a floating continent enemy.
Right.
But it's been quite a while since I played vanilla, so I'm not super.
Classy picking up their 6th character here.
Yep, and we're about to see what the Falls gives to Lanxian. Very slowly. It's a Strago. This seed very much in favor of giving everybody all the characters.
Yeah.
Fraggle's still sitting at double to triple the number of espers that everyone else has. And he's going to be picking up Shadow from this area, so that will put him at 6 and 7.
Lanxian taking that advantage to quickly remove a party member so they can go right into the Gao check of trying to find someone on the belt.
Yes, that is a very nice bit of efficiency there. Vampstar just sitting on that select screen. I hope they haven't run into any technical problems. Yeah, they are just sitting there.
Fraggle now fighting some Orogs, very dangerous enemies, as he one-shots one of them, but the Zombite can be really rude really quickly, as we see here. Boo getting hit.
Yes, there are 2 versions of Orogs. Those ones I believe are undead, and the other ones are not. They do conveniently give you revivifies when you kill them.
Which are definitely needed, because after you fight them, you usually need at least one.
Yes. And you can use the others to kill them the next time. I may have to send Vamp a message and see what's up.
Offering Scimitar on Cyan, very interesting play, having Jump and Dragonhorn available, but seems to be working for Classy so far.
Yeah, a lot of them have got pretty decent setups in terms of, damage output. They have stuff going on all of them, so
they have a lot of throughput in all of their rosters right now, which is really good.
Yep, Fraggle probably having no issue with this Dullahan. Ooh, our first look at Mount Colts from Lanxian, the bottom left. I don't know what's going on with Vamp.
That's alright. We'll carry on with the other 3 for now. I'm sure he'll be back shortly. Who knows? Maybe he just needed a bathroom break. That happens to the best of us.
It is a thing sometimes.
Unfortunately, Lanxian having some very bad luck with those random chests going out of his way for him, but here we are all the same.
Yeah, Dullahan going down there for Fraggle. But they have found, lots of nice things in chests, so...
Gold shield, not too bad, considering we don't really have a whole lot of shields so far. I believe some characters still have bucklers and mithril shields equipped, so that'll be nice.
Yep, it's interesting how far you can get into this and still go, oh wait, this person's wearing the gear they started with.
Yeah.
There was a stream that Ravlin did last night for charity where Celeste got to Final Kafka and was in his final party and was still wearing a mithril vest.
Yep.
It's not ideal.
You hate to see it, but sometimes you just don't find anything. I did a seed last night with random equipment and random unique.
And that's a rough flag.
It was a rough day. We got lucky in the sense we found merit awards early on, but it was still
Lanxian finding something you don't want to see.
Yeah, you don't want a Magimaster. Oh no.
No, that's... I mean, he's got a drill.
He's got a drill, and we don't have to worry about Ultima in this seed, so
yes.
if he can get past them. This is where wall rings are your friends.
Yeah,
if you find wall rings earlier and you're learning this game, get some wall rings, equip them early on. If you run into a Magimaster, go get yourself a drink, and just come back, and he'll kill himself.
That is why you will see a lot of runners just pick up a wall ring or equip a wall ring if they find one as soon as possible and just leave it on for quite a while. Because you don't really need to worry about reflecting your own spells until you find some good cure spells and enough HP to worry about it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a real bad time for Lanshin.
I can't see it going super well.
But he's given it a valiant effort.
Yeah, you know, all the props for trying. Just a matter of what can be done. Which I don't
I like the quick swap to the fixed dice here. Hoping to get some high rolls and potentially break their way through.
Yeah, unfortunately, Realm cannot equip that fixed die. Fixed dice, I guess. And
alternatively,
Franklin... Sorry?
Go ahead. I was just going to say, alternatively to what Franklin just said in chat, you can also Berserk Magimaster.
Yes, I was also going to comment on what Franklin said. There is a new flag where enemies don't necessarily have their normal abilities. So Magimaster might throw a bunch of stuff that can't be reflected at you. Nice
huge roll there for Lanshin.
Yes.
Oh my! And that'll get him over the hump. Wow, yeah. I honestly was like, I may have reset this fight, but they just turned it on its head real quickly.
And that shows you why fixed dice can be very, very good. And that's pickup of a Setzer, which puts Lanshin at 8 characters, which is the maximum required number. Also gives him access to Doomgaze very easily, which was an Esper, and Collision, which is a free, like, 5-second check.
It's 3 very quick treks. Daryl's Tomb doesn't even take that long. It's a couple of minutes, depending on if you go after the monster in a box or not. Like,
and it has a reasonable number of chests in it for such a short check.
It really does. Setzer's checks are always ones that I try to target personally because they're very fast.
Vamp very slowly walking out of Mount Zozo.
It's always a long day when you don't find your warp stones.
Yes. This is one of the reasons they are so valuable. Classy finishing up Cyan Stream, getting Golem.
Again, Golem being almost imperative, in my opinion, for Tier 3. It's my favorite Esper for that. I prefer it over Fenrir even. But
I mean, if multi-Esper is on, they're both really useful for the whole fight. But I have no particular preference of them for Tier 3.
So Nolingen is a Torado Magicite. That is awesome. As Lanshin is purely just looking for Espers at this point.
Yeah, it still
also
needs
having
to
the
find
Vantage
7.
ability.
And Fraggle selling off a lot of stuff. Possibly.
Fraggle seems to hit a little bit of a snag here. They were well ahead with 6-6 for a while, and I've only found one character in the last 15 minutes or so.
But buying some Ragnaroks.
Never a bad idea.
And we see the return of Vamp, who just had something come up, but now he has returned, re-entering the race. And still not that far behind, honestly.
No, looks like he's going to be going for the trifecta of Edgar checks.
Which we have not seen anyone do yet. So that might give him quite the advantage. That is one thing about this randomizer. You can go completely different routes and have one of them turn out to be better, or often just people wind up in KT pretty close together, which is quite nice.
Classy choosing to go after some of the monster in the boxes within the collapsing house.
Not something I would generally ever do. It is a gamble, but, you know, with the fixed dice and stuff, I don't think he's got too much to worry about.
I think at this stage, without a hero ring or an Atlas armlet, he may be looking for a hyper wrist for his Scion to empower the jump a little bit further.
That is a possibility.
Which you can get from one of the mobs out of a monster in a box. It's very similar to the one he fought, but I can't remember which one. Maybe.
Yes, I don't know if it's that one or the one with 4 of them. And a presenter, which will take a little more time. And Atma for Vampstar.
All right.
Now that's gonna be a fight.
Nice, easy boss, no big deal.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He hasn't been struggling at all.
Nah, listen, he's got dice and a
money.
Jumping Scion. He'll be fine. I believe his Scion's even jumping with a Magus Rod. It looked like.
Yes, an odd choice, but it's a remarkably good weapon. Just even as a weapon.
And Locke is down and he's lost his advantage. Oh no, he's jumping Illumina now, it looks like.
Oh, Quake. Never a spell you want to see coming at you. Fraggle going after that Inferno, which we now know results in a Siren. And Classy still doing that presenter fight. Having a bit of an issue, but this is one of the many fights in which, you know, having targetable damage is imperative. Meteor coming out as well. Not a good combination of spells to have thrown at you. Only character left now is Edgar. And we'll see if money can solve all problems, I guess. Just electing to heal Edgar, ignoring all the dead guys, and I believe that said Celeste is the reward for Daryl's tomb. And it's just a Kefka fight, so that'll be nothing. Fraggle picking up Siren. Classy getting through that presenter fight. And Vamp just slugging away at Atma, and Krakow. I can't say I was sure that was going to happen. And the reward for that, I did not see because I was typing in a thing. Just a reminder to go follow our runners. You know, maybe join the Discord for the game. It's a very good community. Excellent randomizer. Atma, our dev, is incredibly hardworking and just keeps giving us new stuff, new toys, new ways to play. Listens to a lot of feedback. Very amenable dev. And the community is just great all around. Fraggle fighting those Mount Zozo thingies. Now, in the Imperial camp. Vamp heading off to quote-unquote Kalingen.
Fraggle looking to make some money off of that Ursus.
It is always nice. That is most of another Ragnarok for him.
Absolutely it is.
And an Esper in the form of Ifrit, which has Quick on it, which is an interesting spell. If you find a gem box, a very, very good spell. And if not, situational. Well,
if you can find a gem box and you have a go-go, you got a lot of shenanigans on your hands.
Yes.
For those of you wondering what we're discussing right now, you can mimic the Quick and the following cast with a go-go and eat up 6 turns very quickly on something.
Yes, Quick allows you to just kind of go again twice. Whilst nothing else moves.
Another fun interaction utilizing go-go is mimicking Palador.
Yep. That's always a lot of fun.
Yep.
And Fraggle's fighting that old Dadaluma on the falls.
And Lanshin finding Realm's daddy once again.
Mm-hmm.
We have Vampstar working his way through the ancient castle. Actually approaching it now.
Yeah, taking a save there. Probably going to fight the dragon.
I was just about to say, I think I wonder if he's going to be going after the dragon here.
Yep, Fraggle going to be picking up Strago here as his 8th character. And, as mentioned, we will be finding a shadow. Election side there.
We have Classy heading into the ancient castle checks now, it looks like.
Yeah. Generally fairly popular to do those all in one go. I think basically unless you find your last thing in the tentacle spot, you're generally going to run and do this bit. The only one you usually see decoupled from the others is just the straight up Figaro throne room check. And finds a Tritalk in the statue of Ancient Celeste. It has life 2 on it. And
good spell to have for sure.
Yes.
That Odin with Magic Power 1 is also going to be very useful if they choose.
Just about to say, anytime you can get Magic Power Plus on people, especially a cast like this, where essentially his entire party is not good at magic. If you need to cast magic... Oh! Fraggle renaming another character. There you go, Zelfer. There you go. Your favorite character. Dirt Durgan going down for Vamp. Lanxian about to get an Esper from this Narappa fight. In the sky. Which is a reasonably appropriate place to find a Narappa. Probably just fell off the continent. And Fraggle finding Raiden, now up to 9 Espers and 8 characters. Very nearly time for the tower. Classy coming back up out of the ancient cave. Or rather, sorry, Vamp about to do that. Classy just going to the tentacle check. And Lanxian killing that Narappa, as one generally does pretty easily. Floating continent. Interesting.
Is that like you call it? Narappa the Rappa.
Oh, that's a reference only old people are gonna get. And, as I said, Fraggle making a slightly odd choice of doing the floating continent. It does take a bit, but there are 3 checks up there.
I'm a fan of it, personally.
It is my favorite of the forced encounters checks. And
it takes a minute to get there, but you can clear the whole thing in less than 10 minutes. You get 3 checks out of it. You can find characters, you can find espers. It can fill the gaps for a lot of runs very quickly. You could spend just as much time going and checking 3 or 4 other random checks and not get anywhere. So,
and this does also have the benefit of getting you some experience.
Absolutely. You get some levels out of it, and that's never a bad thing, especially at the stage Fraggle's in now. It makes a lot of sense to pursue it at this point.
Yeah. Oh, Lanxian doing that thing I do every time, or did for quite a while, of thinking that there's a chest at the bottom right where those thieves are in the Behemoth Cave. I was utterly convinced in every run for like 3 months when I started playing this randomizer that there was something there. Just kept forgetting. And is Lanxian going to check the important chest? Yes, there's another offering. Classy Badger, throwing some dice at the Atma. Being rewarded with fire 3s to the face. And Behemoth Cave check for Lanxian will yield a hide on, as we have previously seen. Vamp now electing to go do the Cyan's Dream check. Checks. Or walk around in a weird way to get that other pot.
As you said earlier, random loot.
Yep.
And he got a Minerva. Look at that. Worth it.
Absolutely. I guess that's where Langshan found his earlier on. Another one of those chests that people often skip over, or might not even know exist. Although there are 2 chests, I would say, in Cyan's Castle in Doma that essentially nobody ever picks up. And those are the 2 on the wall.
I get those every time.
Really?
Yes.
They take so long to get.
It's about 20 seconds. And the amount of times I've gotten like an Illumina or a Minerva or something that broke the game for me is probably more than 50%. So I go there a lot.
I mean,
I also grabbed the long chest in South Figaro though.
I will randomly get that one. Like the chests I get are very dependent on the flags and how well I'm doing.
Yep.
So random chests, I might consider getting those extra 2 in Doma, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone go there on stream. I guess I'm not watching enough of you.
Yeah, I go there probably 90% of the time. I go there. Again, if chests are shuffled, I won't take long shots. But if there's any random at all, and I'm a couple pieces away from something really crazy, then I will usually just fish for it and see if I can get it. And a lot of the time,
taking out those very tall cranes before getting knocked off to do something else. Number 128.
Interesting to see him fight an airship boss on the airship.
Yes, exactly. I don't think I've ever seen cranes come up there.
We've got Vamp up against Not So Fun Baba on the right here.
I see what you did there.
Langshan is trucking along too, doing a great job.
Yep.
Very impressed.
And the Tizen in the World of Balance, very slightly cheaper than the World of Ruin, 49k versus 52. But
there's nothing better than when the thug goes, "Yeah, you don't have enough money for me." It's always such an insult when you get that.
Yeah, and it's not like Locke is standing there being like, I'm definitely not a thief and couldn't just take this from you.
Right. And Sraff him, alright.
Bolt 2. Always nice to find extra stuff. Fraggle picking up Ragnarok the Esper. 1 Esper remaining.
Need it. And this is why I think FC is such a great check to do when you're this close to going to the tower, if you need a couple of checks, because, you know, now being 10-8, if he gets his last Esper on here, he'll probably be in the low 40s, which is a great window to actually push through Kefka's tower. I think he set himself up really well here. He's doing a great job.
Yep, and we're seeing Langshan make use of Celeste in doing a similar thing and going for a 3-check area.
It is, yeah, and again, this is also, it's very similar. You have a window of forced encounters. You can get a little bit of XP from. You fight about 3 bosses.
Yeah, and if you're only looking for Espers, the first 2 checks here are Esper and item only, so...
Exactly. It's again, I've had a lot of bad times in the factory. I tend to defer to other checks before I'll go to it, but
well,
it's just...
at least after the first 2, you can nope out of it really easily. It's only when you enter the 3rd part that you're stuck. And usually if I'm looking for Espers, I would much rather run to the Magitech facility, do the first 2 checks, than deal with the auction house.
That's fair.
Dirt Durgan going down for Classy there. And it's a goddess fight for Langshan.
Ah, nice easy fight, no big deal.
Ah! Yes! We got to see it! Sabin has morphed into a Chancellor, the most dangerous of all the characters in the game.
feel you have some kind of connection with the Chancellor.
No, I've never heard of them before.
Okay, that's pretty good. It is really good. That morph is quite fantastic.
It's the one palette swap I put in. And a Tritok for Fraggle. Probably not a big deal.
Yeah, Fire Cube will make very quick work of this Tritok up here.
Mm-hmm.
Vamp having a quick heal up before going in to fight what would be Rexel in the vanilla game.
Yep. I do not recall it was there off the top of my head, but it wasn't difficult.
It looks like we have Classy working their way back out of the ancient castle.
Yep.
And Goddess going down like it was nothing.
That's a good 50 magic points there. And we'll see what the reward is on two people's screens. Fraggle having taken out Tritok, Zone Seek, and Phoenix. 2 Magicites for 2 checks. And Fraggle just immediately leaving the floating continent, not bothering with that 3rd check, because doesn't need it. They are in go mode. And Vamp has found Chupon and Ultros. Not a super dangerous fight, but also not a rewarding fight, because you just get blown away.
Yeah. That's a fight that I wish just had some kind of XP. There's nothing worse than when you just fight a bunch of Ultros early in the seed, and you get nowhere with it.
And a bunch of them don't give you money either.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, have your 15 gold pieces and no XP. Have a nice day, sir.
And it's a stooge fight for Langshin in that 2nd Magitech check.
Three Stooges can be really rough to go against, but they can also be very easy if you're able to do targeted damage. If you can take out the top of the 3 Stooges, then the rest of the fight becomes very easy. If you take out the bottoms first, you end up having a really bad day.
Yep, it's a very hit or miss boss in difficulty terms. And as we've just seen, if you have access to water edges, they are very useful in this fight. The top one is weak to water, and the other 2 don't absorb it. So it kind of throws off the balance that you usually see with the 3 basic elements, where one of them each absorbs one of those things. Delta hit on Locke, who is now too stoned to participate in the fight. He needs to go have a lie down.
Hopefully on a soft bed.
I'm not sure he's gonna care at this point. Fraggle, presumably heading off to Kefka's Tower. And indeed he is, so Fraggle will be our front runner, as he has been most of the race.
It's been a very good run for Fraggle.
Yes.
Hopefully he can bring it home here. The tower can be very rude. You never know what's hiding at those statues.
Well, we know at least a few bosses that aren't there. Magimaster and Goddess have appeared elsewhere. Inferno has appeared elsewhere. There are still some nasty surprises that could come up, though.
It's nothing worse than a spicy chicken or a Doom in a bad place.
Doomgaze, I think, is even worse.
Yep. Well, that all comes down to where your levels are at. If you're multiples of 5, you're gonna have a real bad time.
Yeah,
if you're not, he's not that bad.
Well, even if you're not, he still has Arrow and regular Doom, so if you don't have a big party or fast offense with the party that fights him, he can be a real problem.
That's fair.
Well, yeah, we still have 2 of the Goddess statues in the mix. Also Guardian, although I don't really think Guardian's that dangerous. Usually, anyway.
Especially with Boltbury in the mix. Make quick work of that.
Yes, everyone's got a fair amount of damage they can put out. Vamp's still wearing that cursed shield.
Listen, when you have a goal in mind, you just go for it. All right. And Vamp's mission here has clearly been to make a paladin shield.
Yes, well, I'm sure once he gets that paladin shield, he'll just go, now what's my time? Classy. Going in the non-standard end of the Ghost Forest.
Ooh, a strength Esper, look at that.
Just in time. That leaves Lanxian with a need for one more Esper, I believe.
Lanxian's realm looking very beefy in terms of spells.
Yep, and it's always nice when you can make sure Realm is an actual caster. Because she likes to murder things. Classy, about to nope out of this place. And there it is. Lanxian electing to get out of there, going to fight Tunnel Armor, which is, as we know, the Siren Esper, I believe.
I think they're feeling a lot more equipped with Bolt 3, Ice 3 going into this Inferno fight.
I think it's just a little bit easier.
Probably a little bit more than last time, that's for sure.
Plus, Lanxian is no longer level 3.
Correct.
Which also tends to help a bit.
We've got Classy doing the Imperial Camp check, as we've seen from others, providing they get the same encounter. They'll make a lot of money here if they get a Nurses.
Yep, especially if they have a Cat Hood, which most people do. Vamp, finishing up that Doma check, getting another offering. Unfortunately, we don't seem to have found anything else to use with an offering beyond those fixed dice. For me, certainly there's a very small pool of items I will consider using the offering with.
Or abilities. I'll run a Genji Glove offering with a Cat Scratch.
Yes.
Because that's your highest damage possibility in the game at that point.
Yep. Unfortunately, not super common.
Nope.
I mean, I think I've found Cat Scratch 2 to 3 times in the entirety of my time playing this randomizer.
I've been a little bit luckier than that, but anytime I can get it, that becomes a priority for me.
Absolutely. Inferno going down on Lanxian there, and Vamp entering the Imperial Camp as Classy leaves it.
And Fraggle making very good progress through Kefka's Tower here.
Yep, just about to come up to the Vanilla Inferno spot and the first boss fight of the tower.
And we have Lanxian doing something that a lot of people don't realize you can do. Taking a quick top up from the little pond there before you leave the cave. Yeah. It can save you time going into your airship or using a tent, etc.
Absolutely. I make sure to do that every time. It's also a reasonable place to look for grind if you require some.
Absolutely.
Oh no, that bear stole his money.
Fraggle with a really tough encounter here up against Welk.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to get through this. I mean, Zelfer's just doing nothing to help.
Well, they're watching really well. We got Lanxian getting their 11th Esper from the Celeste check in South Figaro. It was Bismarck, who has an HP 10, Regen, and Reflect.
Yeah, Vamp picking up Ifrit, and Classy about to get Strago, I believe. Presuming he can get through the horror of Dataluna.
Lanxian was doing a quick check of their Espers there to see if they had Fenrir or Golem, and it looks like they realized, I don't. So, hopefully having Life 3 as an alternative, or Mirage Vests, etc., potentially to help bypass Calmness.
I don't think I've seen Life 3 yet. But we do know that Golem and Fenrir are both on the table if they elect to go do some other checks. Oh, Franklin is telling us that Lanxian has skipped the extra reward at Doma, which is all you have to do is go up to the
I'm going to make note of that. That may just be something they don't know. I didn't know that for a very long period of time.
Very possibly. not user error, but lack of knowledge. Lanxian, as I mentioned at the start, I don't think I've seen on a restream before. Possibly fairly new to the randomizer. But we do now have 2 people going to Kefka's Tower. Lanxian deciding that, yeah, I'll just deal with that and hope it doesn't work out in a bad way for me.
Vamp opting to take the Marvel shoes from the Ghost Train.
Interesting choice.
Yes.
One thing I do know about Vamp is he does really like to 100% seeds. So I think sometimes he might have issues ignoring checks or stuff once he gets to them. But also, some people really love Marble shoes.
They can be a really great relic as a placeholder when you don't have earrings and hero rings. And
yes, if you don't have damage upgrading things for your relics, Marble shoes are a really good secondary. Or I suppose just probable people play more defensively than I do. But Marble shoes
are a great defensive item. They add a little bit of offense with the auto haste portion. It's the equivalent to a modern Final Fantasy, like a newer version of Big Guard. Basically gives you shell, protect, and haste and auto regen, which aren't the names of the spells in this game, but for those of you who play more modern ones, you're not as familiar with the spells in this game. That's the equivalent of what you're getting out of a pair of Marble shoes. Usually a great item to combo with a fixed dice user. If you just have an offering and no Genji glove and you're not rolling double dice, it's a great way to keep that person alive and healthy.
Yep, and if you know how to do the weight trick, haste is more useful than people give it credit for.
Absolutely.
And Senor Behemoth here for Fraggle. Probably not going to present much of an issue. Already onto the second form. Classy taking out that Ice Durgan. Oh no, wait, sorry, Ice Dragon. And just
Vamp getting really unlucky with the loot on this this train.
It has not been great for him. Illumina from that Ice Dragon, as we have seen before. Fraggle taking out Senor Behemoth. And
I'm very intrigued by the decision to just make Cyan an all-out attacker rather than utilizing a Dragon Horn with his jump ability.
Has he found a Dragon Horn?
Good question. I know a lot of people have.
Yeah, there was one, but Fraggle...
I saw at least 3 people with it at some point.
Yeah, if I have a Dragon Horn and a Lance, I am using that.
Illumina will actually do more damage than any of the Lances.
Yeah, but I would probably put the Illumina on someone else and have them hit with it. Instead of casting spells. I like me some physical strats because they're fast. Arrow coming out there. Not a spell you see super often, but, you know, if you've got it, it is quite nice because not many things absorb wind.
Classy getting unlucky with those rolls here, having half his team confused. This could go very poorly, especially with Scimitar offering Illumina combo.
It worked out for him, though.
Oof.
That's a dead Ghost Train and 2 people who aren't dead and no longer muddled on his team.
The amount of times I've seen confusion go very awry for me is nerve-wracking.
It's very dangerous in this game, just because you can have such crazy damage output, and you don't have the amount of health that enemies do.
It's nothing worse than confusing a sword tech user that has cleave queued. That's a terrifying moment.
Yeah, that's just, oh, your party's dead. Classy now needs 1 more Esper to be ready for Kefka's Tower. Vamp, bit behind, but as we saw earlier, he did have something in real life to deal with and spent a fair chunk of time just not doing anything. Oh, all the dice going to the shell. Oh no, that went in the face. Turned around in the end. And it's a Poltergeist for Sabin and Realm.
Oh no. I hope I didn't jinx him. We got a spicy... He got a French vanilla statue here, folks.
Yep. Luckily, Realm is pretty eminently qualified to deal with it. Sabin, maybe not so much.
Kind of just hoping for flare procs, I would think, here.
Yeah, that would be good. Realm, of course, has that Ice 3, which is very nice. Classy getting the Ice Shield from the Umaro check. And Vamp finally returning to deal with Inferno for, I think, the 3rd time. And that's a stopped Poltergeist. A strategy that isn't super common because you don't often have stop. And a lot of people, I don't think, know you can do that, but Poltergeist is one of the few bosses in the game that can be stopped.
You can stop lock with a sword tech user too with Stunner.
Yes, or if you have Stunner the sword.
Correct.
Or the knife, whatever it is. There are a few ways to do it. Still doesn't come up that much. And we are seeing Lenshin coming up to the same set of fights that Fraggle is going through. Just about to enter the statue section of the tower. And 2 bosses about to go down on the right side of the screen.
We got Inferno for Vamp, which will get him Siren, I believe, was the Esper from that check. And then Vargas is about to bite some dust here.
Down he goes. Ooh. Whirlwind coming out against Realm, 0 damage. Arrow. One of the wind spells. And Fraggle gets through it. And if he can get through a random goddess statue with one character, he can probably finish out the rest of this tower without much issue.
I agree.
Classy's still looking for that one Esper. Vamp, obviously behind. But, starting to make up some time. And we'll see what is on tap for the other 2 goddess statues in a moment. That's interesting. He apparently did the rightmost one first. Yeah, it would never occur to me to do that. And not for any particular reason. Oh, Classy, about to do a semi-long check to find Gal. Not what he's looking for.
No, but he may also take this opportunity to take on the dragon, get a little bit more experience.
Yep, I would say anytime that you can pass a dragon that you can probably kill in a minute, just kill it. They're very rewarding. Flame Eater here for Fraggle, a little less dangerous than the old Wendy's sandwich.
It's a lot less dangerous than a Polty, that's for sure. Providing he had it full countered there. There's no worse way to start your day than getting shrapnel.
Shrapnel is a very annoying spell or ability. It can do stupid damage.
We got Lenshin and Fraggle fighting the exact same fight here.
Yep. Don't let that confuse you, though. Lenshin has gone with a more standard method of choosing which statue to fight first by going straight up the middle. Fraggle has killed the rightmost statue, which Lenshin has yet to do. The
that Pro Runic by Shrago. It's like he knew it was going to cast the fire spell on him.
Runic is, I think, a somewhat overlooked ability in this rando. It can be incredibly useful. Vamp trying to make a decision, I guess, for where to go. It looks like he's figured something out.
Classy going to do the Owser's house, it looks like.
Yeah, which will result in another character.
As you can see there,
and
Dragoon Boots.
Fraggle about to enter the final fight.
What a run by Fraggle. By
yeah, this has been quite impressive.
This is a really crazy good pace.
What are we at? An hour 30?
Yeah, entering Kefka fight at an hour 30 is really good.
For a 7:10 standard flags race, getting under an hour 30 was for a very long time like the thing to do. It was setting the land speed record. It was whatever you wanted to relate it to. It was the number to beat. So
yeah.
Even with the random chests, getting close to that number is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and opting to fight 3 optional dragons as well.
Well, that's going to be part of what helped him out so much. All that extra experience, that Illumina, other nice things came out of it. Seeing Classy at the auction house, a place I'm not a big fan of, but I do realize that it can be very useful. Now, Colts now for Vampstar. And Classy finds a Pearl Lance. I was very confused for a moment there when I looked over and saw only 3 characters on Fraggle's screen. I thought he had made a very poor decision. Turns out Cyan can fly. Another version of the octopus dead there. I think the only one we haven't seen this seed is the, I don't remember the numbers of them. The one you fight in Esper Mountain. I think it's 3. One part down on the first tier for Fraggle. And it's the old Magimaster fight with an Umaro on the team for Vampstar. So no option to do wall rings or anything like that. But fixed dice. Probably gonna get him through it. Tier 1 down already for Fraggle as Classy Badger picks up their final Esper, Shiva. And 1 goddess statue left for Lanxian. We're going to have a reasonably close finish between Fraggle and Lanxian. Classy a little bit behind them, but still on track for a pretty decent time.
Absolutely. An unfortunate imp on the opener there on Realm. It's going to slow down the offense for Fraggle, I think, on tier 2 here a little bit.
Yeah, but he's got Siren out, muting magic. Always good to see.
And we got Vamp.
An air anchor as well for that auto doom on tools. Vamp, as you were probably about to say, having a bit of an easier time than we saw Lanxian have earlier. Shrapnel coming out for Lanxian. We did not see that with Fraggle, but Lanxian also has 3 characters, so again, probably an easier time. A dead Jack for Fraggle. And triple 1s on that last roll there against Magimaster. What a delicious amount of damage. But down it goes. one nice thing about being able to kill Magimaster is not only do you get a lot of magic points, you also get a Mega Elixir, which is very useful in the final phase of Kafka. You now have 3 racers in Kafka's Tower, and one who had some real-life issues earlier on, reasonably close to catching up. Poltergeist very slowly but surely being killed. And Fraggle casting Phantom, probably looking to avoid the damage from 10 hits. Vamp finding that Doomgaze Narappa, which I believe was an Esper. After this, he will just need 2 more Espers to be able to enter Kafka's Tower. Lots and lots and lots of dice this game.
Yeah. A lot more than I thought we might see, but then again, random chests. You usually get one of something.
Yeah, I mean, they can be very generous, but sometimes you only get 1 or 2 things that are really top tier. I think most of the rest of the gear came from offensive gear anyway. There was an Orleans in a chest, and there were Spix dice in a chest, and other things came from dragons and chops. Tier 2 down now for Fraggle, moving on to Tier 3. The other main part that can ruin your day, but I think we're going to see Fraggle has a lot easier time of it than Langshan will, because he has means to defend himself via Fenrir and Golem. I believe he has both. Vamp picking up another Esper there, now at 9 and 9. 2 more Espers required.
Now let's see if he chooses to open with Golem or not.
It is something you want to do, particularly when you have a jumper in the party, because they might not be there when you cast it later.
Choosing to go for damage first is a very risky play, but somebody choosing to go with.
Sometimes you just underestimate the amount of damage you're going to do. Then still going with the fights.
We have Vamp exploring Daryl's tomb.
That will yield Celeste for him. And then I believe Celeste's check into Figaro was an Esper.
I believe you're correct.
Let me check.
Nice Magus Rod in the chest there. There we go. And we have Classy in the tower fighting the very difficult Welk boss.
It is indeed an Esper in South Figaro.
Fraggle having a real hard time here, just losing Cyan to a Doom or a Condemn there.
And here comes some Medio. I didn't know that worked like that.
No, me either, but it may have just made things even worse. Oh, no, he gets through it.
Yep.
Wow.
No time to heal Cyan, though. And we are now seeing Langshan coming up to Tier 1. And Classy fighting that first boss, the Welk. And now it is time for Fraggle to add up to 62.
May have a hard time with this, losing a lot of his damage. Cyan was doing a lot of the work for him, but
yeah.
hopefully he gets some good dice rolls here. hopefully a Mega Elixir or a Cure 3 will be ready for the Fallen one. I don't see him just overpowering this, but hopefully we've got something ready for it.
Cyan was his main reliable damage. Unfortunately, that has been lost. But he still has a Realm and some dice.
You see Lanshin taking advantage of the fire schemes to deal extra damage to the head on tier 1.
Yep, there are two easy to, There's two easy weaknesses in the final Kefka fights that you can make use of. One is fire on the head here, and the second is ice on the tiger in the next section. So ideally, you'd go for those first. We're seeing Vamp going for the Dirt Durgan. As we have seen many people this race doing dragons, and two of them going out of their way to do it.
Fraggle having a bit of a rough go up there, trying to go for it. Getting countered with the hyperdrive.
And here comes a goner against the one person that's going to survive it. Like I said, Kefka is kind of an addition problem. And if you get ahead of yourself, you can have issues. Revenger not going to hurt him though. And he does have access to life too, but there's a Havoc Wing to the face. Havoc Wing, probably the most dangerous of Kefka's attacks.
That and Hyperdrive both just absolutely demolish players, especially in this 30 to 40 range that we appear to be in.
Yes, Ultima, technically the most dangerous one, but it doesn't usually come up if you're careful. Gold Durgan getting killed there for Vamp. Classy, maybe having some tech issues. No, that was just a weird reset.
Alright.
Proc there. And some more dice. Starting with a 10k roll, always nice to see that. These are some pretty decent numbers.
Looking like this will probably finish off Kefka.
Two 10ks, that's gonna be a Krakow. That makes
There's our crack boom,
winner.
and Fraggle is done first. Good job, Frags.
Yes, all the GGs for Fraggle. We will try to get him in for an interview here in a moment. A end time of 1:42:11. Because I forgot to turn on the timer like a genius. We will try to switch over the music here to someone else. Let's go with Vamp since they're the furthest back. And where is it? There we go. Plus, it's my favorite song in the game. We will try to get Fraggle in here for an interview. Whilst Terra prances.
And we have Vamp clearing through the Matchstick Factory now, trying to get his last Esper. Hopefully we get that real quick for him. Classy Badger working their way up the tower, and Lanshin putting in a lot of work here on tier 2.
Absolutely. So we'll just drag Fraggle here into the call. GG's Fraggle.
And
well played.
Well done, Mr. Frag.
Thank you. That's PB.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
You were on a blistering pace there for quite a while now.
Yeah. Say everything just fell into place.
Yes, you were very far ahead of everyone for quite a while in the Esper race, particularly.
Oh.
Like, when you had 6 Espers, everyone else was still sitting on 2 or 3.
Some even had 1, I believe, when you got your 6th.
Oh.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy to watch.
I'll have to definitely watch the VOD back.
It was an interesting race. We current Langshan's right behind you in the Kefka fight, and Classy's coming up to the goddess fights. And even Vamp, who had some stuff he had to deal with and had to stop playing for a while, is almost at 11-10.
Nice. Looks like pretty good seed.
Yeah, most people were making heavy use of the fixed dice and the dragon horn.
So Fraggle, why don't you walk us through some of your strategy and game planning as you went through your seed? What were the builds you were trying to go for with your characters and your final party, and why don't you walk us through your Kefka fight and some of the thought process and some of the actions you took? Because it got a little dicey there at the end.
Yeah, that was definitely cutting it close, that final tier fight. But throughout the seeds, when it comes to like more than 10 espers, it's usually my main plans to try and find characters who've got the multi-checks, like floating continents in the prime example, because you've got a higher chance of getting multiple espers from at one location.
Yeah, and that worked out for you.
I was literally, as soon as I got Shadow, it was okay. By the end of this, it should be in go mode, and it pans out that way. For the builds, well, near enough every Esper had like plus speed this time round, which was something, so I couldn't really like hyper focus a melee attacker or a spellcaster. It was literally just hope I can get more turns each boss fight.
Fair enough.
Hitting those like few dragons early on just to get some of the better loot and a few more spells through on everyone just help round it out. Final tier though, that was just hope.
Why don't we talk about that that condemned counting down while Cyan was in the air and the jump still landing for you?
Yeah, that's just a thing, basically. Bouncing corpse.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that was how that worked.
Yeah, but what was odd is that I could have sworn it came up like 0-8 when the little Grim Reaper sprite came up. Or maybe that was just the way it looked because of the white, but yeah, when Cyan went down it was okay, I'm not gonna get this done quicker, but the main thing was holding out on those high rolls off Go-Go and any spell procs.
Lanshan getting really unlucky here with a train counter.
Yeah, and some meteos to the face.
That's never good. Got really unlucky with those dice rolls. Fraggle, one last question. On your tier 3, any reason you didn't want to open with Golem or Fenrir?
I usually leave that till after Girl is out the way. Just purely because if you've got a Dragonhorn or an Offering, it's random targeting. So you could do a fair bit of damage already before Gale goes down. And you might be lucky or unlucky enough to drop Sleep right into Meteo phase the moment Gale's dead. Because of the way the attacks go. It's happened to me before, so I usually hang fire until when Gale goes down.
That's fair.
Throw it up and
when you don't have specific targeting, she can get you out of some procs.
Yeah. Very fair. All right.
Well,
any other questions from you, Mr. Entity?
No, I was just going to ask Fraggle if he had anything else to say. We do have Langshan just about to start his final tier of Kefka.
Good luck, Langshan. And as always, praise Atma and you, Jack.
Absolutely.
I'll see you all in chat shortly.
Yeah, GG's again there, Fraggle. You have yourself a good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care, bud.
You, Jack.
Okay, so final Kefka happening over on Langshan's side. Vampstar looks like he's in go mode now, still electing to do the third part of the Magitech facility.
Magitech factory, yeah, maybe hoping just to get one last item, or maybe even one last Esper that could help push him over the edge.
Senior Behemoth is currently getting the crap kicked out of him by Classy with some high rolls. Also, some reasonably high rolls over on the Kefka side. And then some not so high rolls. Those fixed dice will get you through a lot of things, but you can't rely on them.
Oh, the trip 3 there was alright. Helped rally those other rolls. Oh boy.
Yep.
We've got Vampstar working his way through the gauntlet on his way out of the Magitech facility.
Yep, fighting some pipsqueaks.
Classy up against their first statue here, I believe.
Yes, I believe so.
First or second?
They just finished fighting, I have already forgotten, because I'm a genius who isn't paying attention to several things at once. But yeah, they fought the Guardian thing, and I believe this is the first statue. It's the main path one up the middle. Oh, an Ultima counter coming out against Langshan for that fire scheme. Not ideal. They tank it though, and if the Ultima counters are coming out, Kefka's nearly dead, so... And a quick spell to cement that damage that should take out the Kefka. But it's dice, so who knows?
I think with those rolls, he could be alright here.
Yeah, these are very reasonable. That's probably a Krakow. That is a Krakow.
That's definitely a crack boom. Got him. Good job.
It is
some great times here today, by the way.
An official time of 1:51:35. And we'll see if we can get Langshan in for an interview. So, I apparently just gave Vamp a finishing time. I'm pretty sure he's not done yet. Let's change that a little. Yes, and I am very professional, Fraggle. So professional.
Alright, I'm gonna pull Langshan in now.
Perfect.
Langshan, my friend, great time? Also, we've been saying your name right this whole time.
Langshan. However it rolls off the tongue, I'm fine with it.
Sounds good. It was one of those names where I looked at it and I was like, phonetically, I'm gonna have a real bad day.
I threw an X in there. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's totally fine. Tell us your thoughts and your overall vibe of how you felt the run went today.
I think it went pretty solid. Some things are a little weird. I did get brick walled by Inferno a couple times. I thought I was strong enough to kill.
If it makes you feel any better, everyone got brick walled by Inferno the first few times they tried. So.
It's like I always thought it was strong enough, but I didn't. And then Phoenix Cave, I got about 15 Blizzard Orbs, which was really nice. No, but there was like a lot of really good stuff in this seed. Like we had just enough power. Throw is insane. Earrings right off the bat. Like, so I had nothing to complain about except for that last fight was a little scary. But other than that, it went pretty well.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
How long have you been running for?
I started running 3 or 4 days before the KGP started.
Okay.
So like a month.
Would you like a friendly tip from a fellow runner?
I would love it. Fantastic.
So after you finish Cyan's Dream, you can actually go back to the throne room and there is another check on the throne.
Oh.
You missed Golem.
Oh, there's just like a whole check there?
Yeah, you missed Golem. Golem was on the throne and that probably would have helped your tier 3 up.
didn't even know there was a check there.
It's either an Esper or an item, but it's free. You just have to walk back into the room once you get out of the dream part.
So it's funny. I actually remarked upon myself. I was like, I clicked like in the tracker. You click through 2, and I was like 3. I was like, maybe they just weird or something like that. Just never even thought about it. That's a really good idea. Well, now I'll do that from now on. That would have saved me a check because I was like keeping South Figaro for like my last check, so that would have influenced me a little better.
It was why I felt on mentioning it, because I was like, you know, he probably would have been in the tower a few minutes earlier had he known that that was there. Let's just float it.
Yeah.
Tell us about your Kefka fight. How did you feel going through it? That last stage got a little dicey, my friend.
Well, that's how like you always have to go with like. I am always afraid with a fixed dice as my main weapon. I was planning on like using Cyan on that last fight to count damage because he was doing pretty consistent damage, and then Cyan got calmness, and so I was like, all right, well this is gonna be a crapshoot. So I haven't seen Ultima in a long time. That was terrifying. So I tried to kind of do some sort of vanish or invis-edge thing, but the Mateo just didn't work out. I got some weird damage rolls, so it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying.
Well, great job, my friend. You were second on the live stream today, so great having you out today. Mr. Entity, anything to add?
No, just this is the first time I've seen you run a stream of it, and you did pretty well. So you know, good job, man.
Thank you very much.
In some future races.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. Congratulations to Fraggle, by the way. That's an insane time for him, and works for anyone really. That's really good. So
yeah, he said that was his PB. So
that's awesome. Very cool. So thank you so much for the restream and letting me play. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
I'm going to take this as a reminder to chat. Make sure you guys go and follow all of our great runners here today. Fraggle and Lanchin, along with Vamp and Classy. Great runners, great people within the community. Lanchin being newer to Mr. Entity and myself, but very familiar with Classy, Frags, and Vamp. Definitely go check out all of these guys. Fantastic people.
Yeah, and there's also a link up in chat there to our Discord and to the randomizer website itself if you want to go check it out. It's very fun, very good community. As we've said before, very open to new people, so always happy to see more people jumping in. Oh, look at that. Langshin got a nice little follow from Fraggle.
And I was just about to say, we have Classy having a real bad time with the spicy chicken over here, the Poltergeist. Unfortunately, just being wiped by a Flare Star. We have Vamp Star working their way through the Opera House, it would appear. Probably still, I don't know what they're fishing for, honestly. Maybe some levels, perhaps? Trying to finish off that Curse Shield.
As I mentioned before, Vamp does like just 100%ing seeds sometimes. So I think he sometimes has difficulty getting into the mindset of, this is a race, I need to not do everything. But yeah, sometimes he just does a bunch of stuff. Maybe he's not confident. Maybe he's just went, well, I spent so long not playing that, Oh, and he's still trying to uncurse the shield.
That's what I said. I think we're just trying to uncurse that shield.
I mean, that's a real life goal for him. Just gotta get that.
I dread the day we have like 1 to 228 on, and
yeah,
we got a 200 curse shield that Vamps trying to uncurse.
It does go as high as 255, so I have seen it set to 1 to 128. I've never seen anyone go higher than that, but even 128 just yielded. Nobody bothers with it.
So it looks like Classy is believing in the dice of Sabin to hopefully carry them through this Pulte fight, but Pulte has other ideas with Shrapnel.
Yeah, not working out too well. Dice are good. But
yeah, it looks like we're using Realm as a physical attacker, hoping for flare procs.
I mean, they're sitting on Ice 3. Maybe they just forgot they had it.
Well, looks like we're going into it now. Here we go. And we got Vamp working on the tentacle monster in the Opera House.
Yep, just people throwing out damage.
So the damage on the dice, Hot Toddies, I'll mention it. So your first die gets multiplied by your second die, and then gets multiplied by the third die. Then it gets multiplied by 2, and then it gets multiplied by the character's level. If you get 3 of a kind, then they get multiplied again by the number that is flipped up. So.
Yep. So there's a possibility of doing like 70 damage, and then a possibility of doing 10k.
Yeah.
And it pierces defense. It's just a number.
It's pure damage.
Oh, there's my Chancellor again, saving the day for everyone.
Classy having a real hard time here with.
Conveniently getting through that Meteo. But there's a fire 3 to the face, and down they go. Vampstar heading to Narsh for reasons. And we'll just see Classy taking another whack at that Poltergeist, maybe changing a bit of equipment, but not much to be done once you get this far into Kefka's Tower, aside from just try again.
Perhaps maybe look for some other pieces that they could pull from other characters that may help Realm and/or Sabin's survivability. Yeah, pulling an Offering there.
Yeah.
Maybe going to go Offering Rag here on Realm.
Fixed dice for Sabin. Offering Ragnarok is not a good decision.
It's not a good play. I just realized they didn't have it on him already. I thought that they would saved a bit on him. Yeah, offering with a Ragnarok or an Illumina, you end up losing all your proc damage because the weapon can no longer proc. Which is why I like actually running...
doing MP crits.
Yeah. It's also why I like actually running Dragonhorn with Illumina, because you can gain the proc with each jump and you don't lose any of the damage from it.
Yep, you actually gain damage because of the jump. You
gain a lot of damage. It's a very powerful combination.
Yep. Atma weapon going down for Vampstar there. Still not sure what they're doing, but I'm sure they're having a fun time. Potion getting broken out on this Poltergeist fight. Trying to keep Sabin up and going. Palador find for Vamp there.
Gonna need a lot less ones here if Sabin's gonna pull this through.
Yeah, there's Lanxian just looking at his Esper. It was a decent Esper too. Written bio on it. And it's Golem to begin with. Might want to drop Lanxian Ed at this point. Not sure they're aware they're being restreamed still. Boy, yeah. 151, very good time for a fairly new runner.
I agree. It took me a good, probably about as long as them. It took me a good month and a half to get my first sub 2 on any run. So it's a real good feeling when you get that out of the way.
Absolutely. Fraggle getting a personal best. The seed was kind to some people and not so kind to others.
Eventually, there it is. I was just about to say, eventually Classy's going to get a good roll here. And snapped off a couple there in a row.
Yeah, and down goes the Poltergeist. Vamp, doing Kefka at Narsh. Possibly the most hated non-Strago check in the game. I don't know, actually, Mog's check is pretty hated. And he's just got some little scorpions. Some little scorpions. I'm not sure he meant to fight them, but he did. Do Coelocytes just never get MP? Because that was a little weird. For it should be level 44-ish.
It would appear that they're done with their shield, though.
Oh, well, that's nice. Let's all congratulate Vamp for getting the shield unlocked.
However, this was a little, like, thing that I noticed the other day. When I took some encounters in the Kefka Nurse check, it seemed to mess up the NPCs moving.
They can get in the way of each other if you fight certain ones and don't fight certain other ones. Lanxian very happy there in chat about the golem find.
Yeah, I didn't want to make it feel any worse there, my friend. I'm sorry.
He still did really well, so, you know, good on him for that. But yeah, we could have seen Merton Strats come out on a few people. We didn't see it come out for anyone, though.
We might get to see it with Vamp. I don't know. By the time they're done, they might be full of snow mufflers and Minervas and
yeah, sometime tomorrow when Vamp decides to go to Kefka's Tower, maybe we'll see that Merton Strat come out.
Those who wonder what Merton Strats are, it's anytime you have fire resist and or fire absorption gear, you just roll up to Kefka and cast Merton into his face. And you full heal your party if you have absorption, and you make him go away. It's Ultima goes burr on steroids, basically.
It's a very powerful spell. It goes really fast. It doesn't ignore magic defense like Ultima, but it is very, very good.
It does a ton of damage, and if you have absorption, you're healing your team at the same time. There's no downsides to it.
As long as the monster does not have fire or wind resistance, you're fine.
Thank you, Franklin.
Oh, according to Zelfer, Merton does ignore magic defense.
It
and
does,
also
yeah.
Franklin.
Yeah.
I was just wrong about that then. Again, every time I do a restream, I learn something new.
Yeah, that's why I call it Ultima on steroids. If you have fire absorption, you might as well use Merton, because you're just going to heal your team and do a butt ton of damage at the same time. Yeah, it does go burr. Exactly. It's a fantastic spell. The portion of it that's scary is if you don't have some way of defending yourself from fire, it's lethal damage to anyone on your team that can't absorb it or deal with it.
Yeah, it has very obvious downsides if you don't have the proper setup to use it. But if you do have the proper setup, you're pretty much set for the whole game, aside from a poltergeist fight or...
There was a seed we had recently in the community where red jackets were sale in the first shop for like 400 gil, and no one could wear a red jacket the whole game. And
yeah, I think that was.
I was so mad. I was like, "This is the worst seed I've ever seen." Man.
Kefka Grand Prix 2 or something, but then there were
also Grand Prix seeds. It was
there
atrocious.
were snow mufflers for sale for less than 1,000 and behemoth suits for sale for less than 1,000. So I wasn't that mad.
I was just mad because I was really excited to run Merton Strats because I hadn't done it in a race setting before, and I was like, "Oh, we have red jackets, we're gonna do this," and it just never came to fruition. And there weren't enough flame shields around to get through it, or Minervas.
Yeah, unfortunately, Vamp has had to go deal with real life again. So we will be dropping them from the stream. They have forfeited. So it's just Classy Badger to finish this out tonight.
Well, we appreciate you coming out, Vamp.
Yeah,
Whether here or not.
Good on you for coming back the first time and trying again.
Classy and a little bit tough here, it seems, with the down Cyan.
Yeah, we've seen Cyan get killed a lot in Kefka tonight.
Yeah, he's not having a good day. Like, I'm wondering if it was a bad equipment choices for him, or if there wasn't anything available that could help keep him alive, but he seems to just be getting punched by everything.
Yeah, I mean,
also,
Kefka
Go-Go in the
knows
Moogle suit. Go-Go in the Moogle suit throwing me off there. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's not often you see Go-Go being used as a jumper, too, so I thought it was Mog for a second. Although I don't think anyone found Mog. Well, yeah. I have on one occasion had at least 3 people in my party wearing Moogle suits, and it's really confusing. Oh, 3 people slip-hitted. That's something you might not think about dealing with, but I will always remedy that away if I can, because once you get to Final Kefka, he will use Fallen One, and that slip hit follows you through and will kill you.
A good counter to that is actually the Blitz Chakra, as it'll clear that.
Yep, if you have a Blitz person and not enough remedies, perfectly valid. Or you just want to save a few turns. I'm not sure if the spell remedy also heals it. There is a weird Venn diagram of things that the item remedy and the spell remedy will cure. Oh! That's not good.
Classy about to have a real bad... Yeah, reset is right. Oh man, that was about to be a real bad day. Holy.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see. That is why people go very far out of their way to make sure that they kill those that have that first tier in a very specific order. If you kill...
You want to make sure you get head, long arm, which is the one closest to the screen, and then the short arm, as it'll prevent you from having to deal with any of those crazy counters. I believe we have access to Fire 2, which honestly is underrated in this fight. Fire 3 is obviously preferred, but if you can go in with Fire 2, you can still do a lot of focus damage on that head utilizing that spell, especially if you have a lot of wild people going here.
Absolutely. Same with Tier 3. A lot of people will overlook the fact that Ice 2 can deal with Tiger pretty effectively. Again, you obviously want those level 3 spells, ideally. But, you know, if you've only got the 2 and you can hit a weakness, go for it.
Yeah, you can. Anything that causes instant death can delete the one on the left.
Yep. Personally, for me, I would ideally have an Air Anchor or a Cleave because they are guaranteed hits. Well, Cleave's a guaranteed hit.
Raiden, Break, and Doom also work.
Yes, Air Anchor, I keep forgetting, can miss. It doesn't usually, but is also a guaranteed kill if it does hit. But any kind of instant death or break, proc, or spell will get rid of long arm for you, and in the second tier, will get rid of tools. Although I'm not sure about break on tools.
Another fun thing to take note of is in the Kefka fight, the character that you have at the bottom of your group will always act first when you're progressing tiers. So setting your roster up with that in mind, if you have a Golem spell or if you have a Fenrir that you want to get out right away in tier 3, having that person on the bottom is always going to help you get through that fight a little bit quicker.
That's amazing to know!
Yeah. The person on the bottom will always go first, so you always want to put the person that you want to act first in your 4th slot, because they will go first, more often than not.
I have learned like 3 things tonight. One is that Dead Cyan will fall on enemies in a way that hurts them. The other is that sometimes you want the game to go fast. And the third is apparently I've been building my parties wrong since I was like, I don't know when the first time I played this game was, when I was very young.
But when you move up tiers, your ATB bars are full and your bottom person always goes first. So after tier 1, your bottom person will act first, and then you have to sift through to get to the other people if you want them to do things. So, for example, if I have like my Golem person or my Fenrir person, just as an example, I always try to put them in my 4th slot. That way they go first when I'm on tier 3.
Yeah,
we got Fraggle's perspective from it earlier and indicating why he chose not to do it right at the start. I will always Golem or Fenrir at the start of tier 3 regardless of how my damage output looks, just because Golem, for example, will put a shield on each character valued at the amount of health the character has that is casting the spell. So you're putting that out there. If your person has 3.5k health, the odd that you're going to take 3.5k physical damage in that fight, very low, and it's going to block you from calmness right away, and you can go all out on offense.
Yeah, I've just learned a 4th thing. Apparently put Golem on your highest health character.
There you go. So this is why I do what I do, and it helps me push through that fight without worrying about calmness in the later stages, because I know I've got huge, basically double, triple health pools on some of my characters. It helps me just push through that fight.
Yeah, fair enough. That's quite... That's two things that are going to change, not dramatically, but how I fight Kefka.
And Fraggle mentioned earlier there in the chat about how you go left, middle, right. Essentially, head and long arm are equal to each other. You just don't want to kill short arm last.
Yeah, I would usually attack the head first, just because it has a weakness and can be taken out more quickly if you don't have access to Doom or something.
Yeah. I'll usually focus head, cleave, arm. Like in most runs these days, we're finding a sword tech, at which point I'm just cleaving long arm just to get it out of the way. Classy in here, holding strong, going at it again, round 2.
Yeah. It's going a little bit better for him this time, in as much as his party isn't mostly dead. Ah, but here comes a shockwave. And a second shockwave.
Would be great if that would hit like another oh my goodness, these counters though. Come on.
Yep. And then what is your preferred routing for this part, tier 2? I personally try to kill Tiger first if I don't have Doom, and then I'll kill Tools, and then Mr. Hitsman, and then Magic.
I usually try to mute back, cleave middle, or kill middle with some kind of instant death, and then I focus Tiger down.
Yeah.
I usually have some form of AoE that I'm utilizing, just to help kind of cleave everything down with one spell or ability. I'm a big fan of sword techs, which not a lot of people are, but
sword techs are amazing. Like,
if I find sword techs, I usually find a way to make that carry me through my seed. So in this instance, I would probably cleave and then, just 7 the thing to death. And then if I have a strong caster with a gem box, I'll usually ice 3 all, or I'll use Meteor, or I'll use Merton if I have Merton available. The main focus is you want to get rid of the middle one as much as you can, and then mute back. And when I say middle, it's if you have an instant death or something that can make it go away, and then Tiger is absolutely a focus at that point.
Yeah, Tiger is the worst. If you don't have some way to instant kill Tools, Tiger is my first priority. Yeah,
Fraggle's breakdown's pretty much what I do. If I don't have mute, I try to Siren. If I don't have Siren, then I cleave and just try to put as much damage out as quickly as I can.
Yeah, that's basically it. I do know some people switch up whether they try to kill 10 hits or magic first. I like to kill 10 hits first because I find I'm very rarely guaranteed to survive those 10 hits with all of my characters. And I like to have the time to heal whoever might
Luckily,
die.
we've had a lot of multi-summon casts of late, which I just cast Golem at the start of every tier if I have it.
Yeah.
It stops you from taking half of the damage from that tier, and then you can just move on.
Yeah, or if you have Phantom or something, you can poop that out at a time you think is appropriate. There's different ways to get through it. But, Classy, slowly getting through this fight. Doesn't seem to have the damage output that Lanxian and Fraggle did overall. And getting the Flare Star in the face. One of the nastier spells that people don't really think about very often. Because it deals damage based on your level in some way that I'm not 100% aware of. And Cyan is dead again, because of course he is.
Part of me wants to be surprised. The other part of me is like, well, we must be on Kefka with Cyan today.
Yeah, they should just equip a coffin on his armor slot. And Locke is dead again.
Oh, Doom Tusk coming out as well. Oh, this is going south real fast.
And
in 3 abilities, they've lost 3 party members.
Zombie Go-Go. And then slow. This is not being nice to Classy.
Getting lucky in the fact that Go-Go chose not to kill someone on his own team there.
Yeah, and not getting frozen on that Northern Cross. That could have been quite bad. I distinctly remember one time I was fighting this and got 3 of my party Northern Crossed and the other one turned into a zombie. And then I reset the game. Oh, and now Cyan's made of stone.
If you guys wanted to understand why Kefka can actually be a really trash fight sometimes, well, you're getting to see it on display today, folks.
Oh yeah, Tier 2 and Tier 3 can just throw so much crap at you that it's almost impossible to deal with sometimes. Like, and it's not like Classy's super unprepared for this either. They have a reasonable setup. It's just sometimes the game doesn't want you to win.
Classy also has a lot of experience as well. It's not a newer runner in our community for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Classy's been
just having a real bad time with this fight.
Oh, and a flare.
Getting really unlucky with a lot of these attacks.
I think he tried to remedy Mog earlier, not revivify him, because Mog seems to still not Mog.
No, they reapplied it. They revivified. It got reapplied.
What? Wow.
Yeah. Just having a real bad time on the Mog Go-Go.
This is rough.
Yeah, this almost reminds me of week 3 of Kefka Grand Prix when I forfeited and everyone was surprised. And I said, no, 4 Meteos and an Ultima was enough to make me go, I don't want to play this game anymore today.
Yeah, fair enough. There have been a fair few forfeits in the KGP, and sometimes you just don't have the time to finish a seed with how it turns out.
Oh no, not another. Well, 2 zombies and a stoned character. This is. Oh no.
Oh, there's a Revivify. That's something. Interesting. Slip hit continues to apply through.
Imagine if Locke actually utilized that remedy on someone that could have used it. That would have been great.
That's just asking for too much. Flare Star gonna kill Go-Go. Presumably.
Possibly Realm as well.
No, Realm's got Force Armor or something on. She's not taking much magic damage. And trying to take out Tiger, interestingly.
Oh, this could be really bad with those dice.
Offering, just hitting random stuff.
Oh, that could.
And then 10 hits.
Oh no.
This could go quite badly.
Tier 3 is going to be super sketch.
Yeah. And oh, that's nice. And Classy has forfeited at this point, and you know what? I can see why.
Yep, I would have. I'd be there with him. The level of tilt that would be going on in my seat is would have been very high. So we wrapping it up here, Mr. Entity?
Oh, we could see if Classy wants to talk about that. I won't be surprised if he doesn't.
While I wait for Mr. Entity to grab that, I wanted to say thank you to all of our runners today. Vamp, Laxian, Fraggle, and Classy. Thank you for coming out today. And all the other runners that ran offline, great job today, fellas and ladies. We appreciate you all being here today. And everyone who took the time to watch our stream, we appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Don't forget to join us in the Discord and feel free to ask questions at any point in time. We would be happy to help you learn. We'd be happy to educate. We'd be happy to spend some time with you and encourage you to join us. This randomizer is a ton of fun, and this is just one of the variables that you could actually have playing this. We have so many different ways to set it up, and and if you guys personally want to reach out to me or Mr. Entity, I'm sure is just as willing to help out. You can reach out to us, send us a DM if you're in the Discord, and we can take some time and try to run you through some things. Just hit us up. And you have anything to add, my friend?
Just Classy's gonna come in and we can commiserate with him for a minute before we finish off. The only other thing I have to add to all that is, as usual, thank you to Atma, our dev, who is amazing.
I agree. Atma, thank you so much for creating a fantastic randomizer that we all get to utilize and platform and showcase for you on a regular basis. It is very well put together.
Yeah.
Classy!
Hey!
Oh my goodness. How are we feeling, my friend?
Well, not too great tonight. I was on pace for such a good game. I felt like I was keeping up there with like Boo and everybody. And then my game just decided tonight's gonna not be a good night for you. So
on a positive side, you got to showcase to our audience just how brutal Kefka can be, even when we think we're prepared.
Yeah, I mean, I went in kind of a little bit lower level than normally I do. I was kind of hitting mid 35 because that seed was so fast, and like it was just like a series of unfortunate events. First, my emulator just decided to freeze, so I had to like restart it. So I lost some time with that, and then Poltergeist was in the worst spot he could have been for me. Just because I knew Realm was like my weakest of the three paths I was going to be taking, but I was hoping it was going to be anything but a statue there, and sure enough, it was a statue there. And then, yeah, Kefka decided to not be friendly at all. Like, he just went mad wild on me. And I had horrible triggers with, like, my fixed dice were doing pretty low. My sniper, I think, seemed to just never trigger its throw proc. So, yeah, it was just a bad night for the Kefka run.
Yeah, you made a pretty good effort at it, though, so, good job trying Kefka twice, certainly. And
you also had some rough Poltergeist fights as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Up to it?
Yeah, I have yet to figure out, like, how the Poltergeist AI works, because sometimes, like, if he had just kept casting Fire 3, I would have been fine. But then he just decided to cast Shrapnel, Doom, Shrapnel. I was just like, one day I want to look at his AI and figure out, like, how he decides if he's going to use Shrapnel over and over again, or if he's going to use his Fire 3 over and over again.
Did you have Stop available?
I don't know if I did or not. I may have, which probably was something that I just don't know enough about, like all the mechanics, like who's vulnerable to Stop or not. Just because I haven't been having as much time to practice recently. And because I've been doing a lot more with like restreaming and actually doing comms for the races than actually practicing. So
a tip for Polty is you can stop lock them.
Okay.
So if you're having a really hard time with bad Shrapnel AI, which sometimes he just likes to do that to you, you can just stop lock him with Stunner, the weapon, or you can use Stop itself.
Yeah, that's good to know. Like, I felt I was really keeping pace with most everybody. Like, there is some places where there's still some stuff that is just like small optimization stuff that I probably could have done. Like when I went to Mountain Zozo and found Gao, if I'd been smart and saved before even going into Mountain Zozo, as soon as I saw Gao up there, I could have just reset out and like saved the time of going through that animation of walking up to him and stuff like that. So there's some spots where I could get better at, like, okay, saving before you go into the check, and as soon as you're seeing it's not what you need, just being able to reset out. Like finding an Esper at the end of Phantom Train was good, but if it hadn't been there, or like finding the Marvel shoes at the end of Phantom Train, reset out instantly, no reason to go through that. Like going up to Zozo, only needing one Esper left. As soon as I saw it was Gao, I should have reset out instantly. And like small things like that probably would have put me on pace with Boo and the rest of them up until the emulator freeze and like the Kefka disaster. But yeah, I felt like the rest of that seed, man, you could get going really fast. I mean, there was offerings you found in the beginning. You found the Genji gloves are viable, Ragnarok's are viable at Narsh. So there's a lot of really high-powered stuff you could find.
Awesome, man. Well, great job. It was awesome having you, man. And
yeah, thanks for showing off to the people who might not be aware. Even if you're doing pretty well, sometimes Kefka just doesn't want you to win.
Sometimes he decides to not play nice, but everybody join us Monday and Wednesday, Friday for the Kefka Grand Prix. Wednesdays is Future on comms and restreaming. Fridays is my Friday night Kefka Grand Prix, where I have commentators on with me and I restream it, and we have some fun watching those seeds. So everybody come out and join us. And
Absolutely.
have a good night, everybody.
Thanks again for participating. You have yourself a good night, sir. And I think we're going to be cutting stream here again in a moment. Just one final time. Go follow our runners, please. They all put on a good show. And, you know, come join the Discord. Come play the game. It's fun. We have candy.
And I'll let you do the closing, Miss Serenity. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And once again, we'll see you again next time.
Yeah, and that'll be it for us tonight. We hope to see you at races here in the future. We have one every Saturday, either here or on Randomania 2 at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And like Classy said, there are 2 other restreams during the week these days for the Kefka Grand Prix. Wednesdays and Fridays at the same time. So we hope you all had some fun tonight and that you all come back later for some more fun and candy. Good night, Internet.